and Eben Lehman. Better. But before we get these festivities properly underway, before we get to talking about Carolyn and Eben and the beautiful love they share,
we wanted to begin by acknowledging everyone except Carolyn and Eben by recognizing all of you.
After all, this ceremony is not just a celebration of these two, but just as much of the people, the loved ones, the families, the support systems, the communities, all of you who have been there for them as both individuals and as a couple since they met each other 4 years ago this month. We also want to take a moment to recognize and remember those who are not here to celebrate with us, but are undoubtedly with us tonight nonetheless.
So, please turn to your neighbors, introduce yourself if you haven't met, maybe do a little, hey, how are ya? Mani Shma, and congratulate yourselves on a job well done. Because without any of you, and each of you, Carolyn and Eben would not be who they are today, meaning they might not be here together today.
But really, whether you're immediate family or a lifetime friend, whether you birthed Eben, or whether you created an amazing chuppah like Netiva and Joel, whatever your contributions here tonight, whatever you've done to instill values and imbue beliefs and political philosophies, I think all of us can agree that none of this would have been possible without the two most important people of all, my sister and myself.
After all, I've known Carolyn for nearly 25 years. We've seen each other through it all. Each time she ate too much ice cream and candy, she made herself sick. Our mutual heartbreak over Leo DiCaprio dying in both Romeo and Juliet and Titanic. And of course, sorry for the spoiler alert. And of course, having to endure an intercontinental friendship long before WhatsApp was ever a thing. And if I hadn't been related to my brother, Danny, this handsome guy over here, who wrote that, well, she never would have met Eben.
And I must say that I've known Eben for nearly 20 years, since our freshman year at college in St. Louis, when he was giving me free Mumia flyers and teaching me about the dietary benefits of sweet tea and Bojangles spicy chicken biscuit breakfast sandwiches. If you don't know, you need to make it to North Carolina. If I hadn't been related to this genius next to me, I wrote that actually, well, Eben never would have met Carolyn.
Well done, brother. Way to be related to me.
Yeah, and well done to you. Way to be born to the same Sheila as me.
Okay. So maybe we had a slight role in them getting together, but we definitely can't take any semblance of credit for the reason they're still together, why they will be together and so good together for the rest of their lives.
And for Carolyn, and I know this personally, all credit is actually due not to my sister and me, but to Eben's incredible kindness, patience, and care, his ability, as Carolyn herself has described, to be both stoic and strong, vulnerable without being weak, and to give as he so generously does without expecting to get anything for it or from it.
And for Ben, the credit should actually be paid to Carolyn's selflessness and compassion, the way her resilience and strength are matched or surpassed only by her loving heart and warmth, and in Eben's words himself, the fact that she makes him want to be a better person.
So we promise we will actually let Carolyn and Eben say nice things to and about each other and make all those promises and vows and whatnot in just a second. But before we do, we have one final request for everyone who is here with us today.
So we actually have some vows for you all to take as well. Everyone here, all of you tonight. Can I hear you? Can I see you? Do you see me? You know I'm talking to you? All right, great. Wonderful. As As we all know, marriage is not just about two people. Only with the love, wisdom, witty banter, community support of others do those relationships actually last. Only with the support and guidance and love that you show Carolyn and Eben will the vows that they're about to take truly be viable.
So we ask all of you in the audience, our mishpacha, do you promise to continue to support Carolyn and Eben?
Yeah.
Do you vow to love them and build them up? To be present with them through the good as well as the bad? To celebrate with them over the years?
Yes.
To hold them accountable both to us and to themselves and to one another?
Yes.
Okay, we're just
But you, Carolyn and Eben, will still need more support in order to thrive. You will still need to rely on others around you, more specifically to remind you of your vows, of your commitments, and of your lifetime love. And so, we ask now that those standing closest by you, as you take these vows, join us in saying aloud the very loving words that the two of you have written about love, about marriage, and about one another. That you, too, have already vowed to one another day after day, year after year, perhaps without even knowing it.
Carolyn, I vow to remind you that when you wake up every morning, you feel loved and appreciated by Eben, and that you will do your best to make him feel and know the same, always.
Ben, I vow to remind you that, as you put it, marriage is giving a part of yourself to someone permanently, without expecting anything for it in return.
Carolyn, I vow to remind you to trust in Eben enough to be vulnerable, to be imperfect, to be flawed, to be sad, the same way you know he trusts and confides in you.
Eben, I vow to remind you that you first knew you loved Carolyn when you realized that what you two shared could and would last forever.
Carolyn, שומרת, I vow to remind you, אני מבטיחה להזכיר לך that Eben makes you feel complete, שבן מבטיח לך להרגיש שלמה, and that no time or distance, ולא זמן ולא מרחק, not even an ocean, אפילו לא האוקיינוס, can change it, יכול לשנות זאת.
Eben, I vow to remind you that with Carolyn's love, you feel like a complete person.
Wow.
Carolyn, I vow to remind you that you first knew you loved Eben when you met Abby, when you saw the love they shared and the father that he is, to remind you to learn from and honor that bond as you build the family you both dream of.
Carolyn and Eben, it is upon that incredible foundation of support and unconditional love that we invite you to speak your personal vows to one another.
So, Eben, my dear friend of 20 years, please repeat after me. Carolyn, my loving partner, I take you to be my wife, my spouse, my companion, and my ally. I promise to cherish our union, to love you, and to grow with you, throughout all the seasons of our lives.
throughout all the seasons of our lives.